What does he mean when he says heart, soul, mind, and strength? Why does he list those things? Well, let's walk through them. When he says your heart, I think what most of us think of is the seat of our emotions. Right? I feel things from my heart. That's a Western way of thinking of our heart. It's not necessarily wrong, but it is not the way that Jesus would have thought of heart. A first century Jew would have thought of heart as your priorities. What do you think about most? What do you exclusively love? What do you spend your limited resources on? Your time, your energy, your money? Those are the things your heart goes after. So think about it for a second. Where do you put your limited resources? As you think about your schedule, your time, is the first thing that you schedule God? Or is the first thing you schedule work or family or relaxing time? And once those are all done, then there's time for God. Or what about money? As you make your budget every month, is the first thing you think about God? Or is it mortgage, groceries, saving for that vacation, the next toy you're going to buy? As you think about your energy, is the first thing you want to spend your energy on, maybe the first thing you do in the morning, is it God? Or is it working out? Making sure you get to work on time so you can advance? Our heart very often puts God in second, third, fourth, or 20th place. But Jesus says, love God with all of your heart. Make him the number one priority of every moment, of every decision, of every limited resource. He then says, love with your soul, which probably is the most difficult for us to understand. What does it mean to love God with all of your soul? I think the easiest way to understand this is to go back to the Greek word for soul, which is psyche, which is where we get our English word psychology from. So love God with all of your psychology. What's your psychology? At least the psychologists that I talk to describe psychology as the study of the mental processes that lead to certain behaviors. Okay? And they would say one of the biggest aspects in analyzing the mental processes that lead to behaviors is the story that you're telling yourself all the time. Every one of us has one of these stories. And we're repeating it to ourselves in our mind. And we're making every decision based on the story that we tell ourselves. I'm hardworking. I'm faithful. I'm generous. I'm somebody who likes to be frugal. I'm somebody who's thoughtful. I'm somebody who is patient. Or maybe it's something negative. I'm fat and no one will ever love me. I always fail at everything. Nobody trusts me. I'm just an angry person. We're all doing this. We're all telling ourselves these stories, right? You probably think of what yours is. What's the story you tell yourself about yourself all the time? It's what forms the decisions that you make. Jesus says, love the Lord your God with all your soul. Love the Lord your God with your inner story. Change your story from not being, I am this type of person, or I think this way, or I say these words, or I'm aligned with this group or this party, but put yourself in God's story. That God has created this world and then lost it because his creation rebelled against him, but he bought it back with the death of his son on the cross so that every one of us could rejoin him in that perfect creation. How would that change the way you make your decisions? If I'm certain that my life is already paid for and I will live forever, how does that change how I talk to people? How I make decisions about what I'm going to eat or what I'm going to do or what I'm going to drink or how I'm going to spend my money or my time, who I'm going to follow on social media, who I'm going to post about. How does that change that? He then says, love the Lord your God with all your mind, which is pretty easy. Your intellect, right? That you would use your brain to engage God. That you would put his word in front of you. That you would think about it, that you would meditate on it, that you would ask questions about it, that you would discuss it with other people, that you would let your imagination grow with what you're learning in the scriptures, that you would speak it to other people who need to know about it, that you would read things that aren't the Bible but teach you about the Bible, that you're always engaging your mind with what the scriptures say. I think that's pretty easy to get to, but I think there's maybe a dark side to this. Because God didn't just give us our minds just so that we would learn the scriptures. He gave us our minds so that we would live beneficial lives to one another. And yet, how often do we waste our minds? We waste our minds doom scrolling. We waste our minds watching another hour of the 24-hour news cycle. We waste our minds playing hours of video games. And it's not that those things are inherently bad, but are they using our minds the way that God has given us our minds to be beneficial to other people? To think through our brothers and sisters' issues, to help them, to find solutions. Love the Lord your God with all your mind. Then finally he says, love the Lord your God with all your strength. And this is your grit. This is that ability you have to make a decision that goes against what you feel. To choose God when it's hard. To choose God when there's something that you would far rather do, or far rather say, or far rather be. And whether it's an identity, or it's money, or it's work, or it's rest, or it's sports, or it's entertainment, that you would choose God over those things. They can be so much more attractive. But to love the Lord your God with all your strength is to love him grittily.